Good morning. Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Welcome to the new subscribers, and thank you for your comments and your replies to why you are prepping. Please keep them coming. They are very interesting. I read them all, and I thank you. I'm 63 years old, and we grew up in a time when it was good to be a kid. It was fun. We played wiffle ball, Nerf football, sandlot football, Nerf baseball, whatever it was, we played it with the neighborhood and we had a good time. We didn't have to worry about drive-by shootings and muggings and all that kind of nonsense. And if we had a problem, we settled it, boom, boom, and then it was done. And one of the things I'd like to share with you for just 1 minute, so bear with me, please. My father was a brilliant man. He was a very gentle and kind man. And he was a chemist as well as an aerospace engineer. And he worked on Apollo and the stealth bombers and everything else. And he would be secluded away at times and not able to or not allowed to talk about what he was working on. So he was a pretty big deal. And I never realized that growing up as a kid because I never applied this because I got the short end of the stick of the gene pool right there. But when I pulled off something that was impressive to him, he would ask, how did I figure that out? And one night when us youngsters, meaning 13, 14-year-olds, were out there watching the streetlights come on, we noticed bats flying around. Well, one of them said, how does he find those moths and everything else? And so I said, it's working on, radar and sonar and stuff like that, and how it sends waves out, comes back, and that's how the bat knows to find food. And I said, but you can disrupt that real easily. And they're like, how do you do that? And I said, give me one of those ladyfinger firecrackers. So what I did was I started throwing stones up in the air to get the bats to come around and swoop down. Well, I lit a ladyfinger firecracker, threw it up towards the light as high as I could. The explosion happened and knocked the bat down to the ground where I was waiting with kite string and gloves. I gathered up the dazed, unharmed brown bat, tied kite string around it, and I said, now I have my own personal flying kite. So I proudly walked home with a bat flying around crazily on kite string, and I walked home and I was hollering for mom and dad to come out because I wanted to show them my new living kite. And when dad came out, he was like, what in the hell are you doing? And I said, I caught this bat. So I explained to him how I did it. And he goes, that's who taught you how to do that? I said, I didn't. I said, I just read and figured it out. And he goes, well, that's pretty impressive, but I think it's time to let the bat go home because they do carry diseases and everything else. So I reeled in the bat and cut the kite string off, and he said, don't do that again. But those were the times we grew up in. They were innocent, they were fun. We used to play kick the can, hide and go seek, all kinds of stuff, like I said, wiffle ball, Nerf football, whatever. It was a good time. The generations that have grown up since then do not know that time. You're watching this channel in the age group that you were born, 2000s or whatever, 90s. You missed that opportunity. Now you have to be looking over your shoulder. You have to have street awareness. You have to worry about drive-bys. You have to worry about pedophiles, predators, and everything else. And being a prepper, I'm going to ask you something. Are you prepared for the shock to your system when this breaks down, or are you already ready for it? I know the missus and I are stunned and shocked at the boldness of the people walking by our property, standing on our fencing, yelling over the hillside, what are you doing down there? Why are you doing this? Can we come and see? They ignore, they can't read because either they're illiterate or just stupid. But people will actually test it and shock you, like, what is going on with you? Why do you not mind your own business? And it is a mild scare. It hasn't stopped me, but it has made me more aware, dramatically more aware of personal security and home defense. So my question to you again today is, how prepared are you when you say, hey, get off my property, and they say to you, make me? Or they are yelling over the fence, you can't hide. Psychological stuff. Are you ready for that? Can you deal with that? Are you wanting to deal with that? It was so shocking that we couldn't grasp the concept. Why would you do that? But when I gave you the warning from the Lord about the time of lawlessness, it doesn't just mean robbing and doing all kinds of other vile things. It means psychological warfare where people will challenge you. And are you prepared to receive that? When I was running the streets, I was prepared to receive and give that type of attitude. I've changed my life around, turned it around, and now I am like, I can't even imagine that concept. Somewhere we have to find the middle to be prepared, and it is a very scary thing happening. Very scary. So, have to up the game. And thankfully, during this slow period in between crises, we will be modifying, upgrading, completing, adding, doing everything possible that these lunatics are showing gaps in the wall. And just like the missus says, it's like plugging holes, multiple holes. You plug one, a leak springs out here. You're exactly right. So that's what we're going to be doing. There's a lot more to it I cannot talk about until it is resolved, and hopefully it will be resolved soon. But if you want to know and use your imagination, think of a made-for-TV Lifetime scary movie, and you'll have an idea. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Please, please get yourself right with God. Get baptized, submerged in water. It will change your life. Baptized in the name of Jesus Christ, submerged in water. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Greg out.